All right, I call this meeting to order. This is the Franklin Civic Celebration Committee meeting on Monday. And I'll make a call to order. John Bergner, here. Robert Knackert.
Here.
Angela Christie.
Here.
Joe Mercado, not here. Carl Budnick.
Here.
Alderman Pecorelli.
Here.
Ann Adamski.
Here.
We have a quorum. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wrong corner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We used that one.
I'll start with, I got an email today from Joe Mercado, and it says, I'm trying to balance my work travel with my volunteer work. Unfortunately, work has taken most of my time. I'm going to have to step down from the celebrations committee at this time. Mondays are a travel day for me. Thanks for all you do, my friend. So, just so you know. Okay, citizen comment period.
Yes, I have a question for the alderman. The minutes of the May 6th Common Council meeting.
Yes.
Alderman Day brought up staff meet with committees to discuss compliance from all city-supported public programs and to direct staff to review current budget levels, personnel support, and reporting expectations for senior citizen group, senior travel program, St. Martin's Fair, and civic celebration with potential recommendations for restructuring, funding, and policy revisions. What brought that up?
I think what brought it up was all those programs, what was consistent across all the programs is that they all run in the, I put it in the red, right? So they're all programs that we have to keep putting, the city has to keep putting more and more into. And so the question was, I think where they're trying to go with it is, how should we look at this going forward? So that's what started the whole thing. And so senior, I think that one they presented last, and it's on the agenda for tomorrow. There's a request for additional funds for that program. That's kind of thing. They were running out of savings that they had, and they kind of burned that down. So they need funds to continue at the rate they've been running at. So I would expect that will be on our agenda in a future council meeting. I think part of this too is that request to kind of get an idea of like what have we committed to so far from like spend for this year, and where do we think we're going to come in with the remaining stuff that we still got outstanding, and then where do we think, I mean, obviously revenue is, it could rain and our revenue could be at the low end, and it could be beautiful for a bunch of days, and it could be at the higher end, like you don't, but what's kind of just our general projection on that.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
Do you think they're giving us more money, Carl?
There was a question, because you can listen to the meetings too. There was a question on it was on the t-shirts, and there is. It would have been in the discussion, so you had to listen to the audio.
Okay.
But it was around I'm trying to figure out the name right here. It was I think it was the t-shirts, and it said t-shirts, and I think it was 4,000 was on the amount. But I had questions on what's all in that line, because I don't know, is that just t-shirts, or do we put other things to that line? So, and that was part of the discussion I wanted.
Okay.
So I think we need to clarify that. Yeah. Yeah, cause on here, on this, it had all that stuff like signs and traffic cones and all that stuff's together in one line.
Okay.
So somewhere they had a separate line where they had the t-shirts separate, but I didn't know if it,
Yeah,
just because the line item says t-shirts doesn't mean is that
Right.
the only thing that went there, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think in ours, yeah, t-shirt, it was 4,500.
T-shirts were high, yeah, and don't forget the city gets free T-shirts, so they get about $1,000 of that in T-shirts between
Yeah.
city and DPW.
You get 70
Yeah, the
t-shirts.
shirts, yeah, 90 shirts.
90, yeah.
So I think that was the other question was let's say 90, let's say 100, just to make it easy. So 100, so it'd be $10 a shirt?
Yeah.
$11 a shirt, okay. Yeah, cause that was one of the questions that came up on that.
Because they're all the larger sizes, and we had to get, that's why we always had to get more larger sizes, and anything you go over extra large, they automatically put $3 more on the shirt.
I'm sure.
So the regular shirt sizes are probably about 8.
Yeah.
But then they go up, and because we have the sponsors put on the back now, that's double printing front and back, so that's costing more. And then the extras to the city.
Okay. So that was the other, so if you listen to that one, you'll hear a discussion on the t-shirts.
I just read it out of here.
No.
Yeah, you can listen to it.
Yeah, so T-shirts are right, it's the parade that gets everything thrown into me, and I don't spend that kind of money. That's always signs and the flags and everything gets put in
Okay.
there, right?
Yeah. And also, Ann and I are going to the tourism meeting on Wednesday and see if we can get funding for the t-shirts.
Oh, okay.
They did it at one time,
Yeah,
5-6 years ago,
okay.
and then, dropped it. But that's something where, like the pickleball tournament,
Mhm.
that's bringing people in from outside,
Right,
and so is our festival.
right.
So
It's true.
we're gonna go see if they can, fund the t-shirt cost.
Yeah, because not everyone that attends is from Franklin, so, yeah.
And we
Right.
had vendors last year that stayed at the Hampton. We got hotel rooms at the Hampton, so we're bringing people in, so I don't see why there's an issue.
Okay,
Yeah, so that meeting's Wednesday night, so,
okay. Well, good luck.
yeah. All right.
It was an active,
I should always bring my glasses. I can forget.
Aren't they always?
not here.
No.
Council, yes.
No, I watched
Newsletter.
those.
This one here. All right, I passed out what this is what's gonna be in the next Franklin newsletter, in the June newsletter. So it'll give a nice big one-page article, on the festival, explaining a lot of the stuff. And then on the second page is our schedule. So that'll be another page that they're giving us. Then this is gonna be a flyer that goes into the newsletter. And that's for the pickleball tournament that we're gonna have, and another request for volunteers. That, we have to pay for. That's like $1,300 just for this flyer. But that's what, when we had it for the cornhole and we did it for the volunteer, if it's separate, it's a separate charge from the printing company. So if, let's go look at the schedule.
So it's
Yeah,
getting printed, just to clarify, it's getting printed with the newsletter, but it's a separate page, so it has extra cost.
it gets inserted in the newsletter,
Yeah.
but it's not a part of the page that you open up,
Yeah.
it's one of the separate inserts.
But it's through the company that's doing the newsletter.
Same company, yeah.
Okay.
Marlin Printing does the
Yep,
printing for the city.
yep.
But they have to charge, and it will be a colored flyer, because it was the same price for colored versus black and white, so it'll be, it's not that we're paying extra for color.
Yeah,
But, this was a big venture to get this pickleball tournament going. So let's go over the entertainment. On the schedule, Thursday, July 3rd, from 5 to 11 p.m., we'll have the food court open. From 5 to 11 p.m. we'll have the carnival, and 5 to 11 we'll have the main tent bar open. The entertainment will start at 5 o'clock with the Academy of Performing Arts singers, bringing some young voices and singing the main tent on the main stage. Then at 5:45 to 6:30, I'm bringing in some of the Best of Franklin Idol singers to sing. And then from 6 to 9 will be the Drivey Box mobile golf simulator setup. And from 7 to 11, our band will be Kings of Radio. Any questions?
This was actually on the online today.
Online too, yes. Yeah, you can see it on the website. And they have it posted now. Yeah. Okay, then on the 4th, at 9:45, we'll have the Kids Are People 2 Children's Parade start. That's not start the parade, I'm sorry. That's where they'd start their little show and entertain all the kids. And that's from 9:45 to 10:30. Then at 10:30, the Children's Parade will begin. Then 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., the food court will be open. And then the parade starts at 11 a.m. After the parade, we'll have free ice cream and limited quantities of vanilla and chocolate. And after the parade, we'll have camel rides for $10. Then they're also going to have the historical building open after the parade. And then from noon to 11 will be the carnival. And then noon to 11 will be the main tent bar. And then back on the main stage after the parade will be Next Step Dance Studio at noon. The golf simulator will be set up again from noon to 7 p.m. And maybe to explain with the golf simulator, it's a big setup where people are going to go and hit 5 shots. And it's set up to Pebble Beach Golf Course. And whoever gets closest to the pin or gets a hole-in-one, wins an award. And that'll cost $10 to do.
Who's the award coming from, us or them?
Don't know yet. They're working with the golf store right out there in Greenfield,
Okay, Golf Galaxy.
Golf Galaxy, but no commitment yet.
Let me know if you don't get anywhere.
If we don't get anything, yeah, I should know.
I might be able to get
Okay,
another thing.
that'd be great. Cause we've been trying for like the last month.
Okay.
And then on the grounds from 12:30 to 1:30 will be Kids Are People 2. That's a kid show. And so will free face painting and the balloon activities. Then at 2 to 6 will be in the main tent, will be the 5 Card Studs Rock and Roll Band. And then from 7 to 11 will be Smart Mouth Premier Band in the main tent. And then on July 4th will be our fireworks at 9:30. Park ends at 11 o'clock. Then on Saturday, July 5th, at 8 a.m. we're going to have our first pickleball tournament and workshops, and that flyer here explains, there'll be set up clinics with people teaching, there'll be instructors coming to tell them fit paddles, explain difference in the paddles to people. So there will be a workshop, but there will also be a social tournament with I think 5 brackets. And one of the brackets is 65 and older. I wonder who wanted that. Yeah, with all the young kids and all, and
Do we have a first time playing category?
first time playing.
Yeah,
I'll play.
that would be me.
Yeah. So that, we're working that out with Southeastern Wisconsin Association of Pickleball, and they will be running the tournament, but they'll probably need some help too. So that's at 8 o'clock on July 5th, Saturday. Then at noon will be the Carnival wristband from noon to 4. on that Saturday for $25, unlimited rides. The main tent bar will be open from 3 to 11 o'clock, and the food court also from 3 to 11 o'clock. Pat McCurdy will be in the band shell from 3 to 5:45. And we're gonna have to work on something to bring drinks over to the band shell. The carnival then will have its regular hours from 4 to 11 o'clock. And then at 4 o'clock will be the Franklin Historical Society dedication of a Ben Franklin plaque in front of City Hall. That's when Jim was here last time. And then again, the Drivey Box Mobile Golf Simulator will be from 5 to 9 p.m. And then we'll have the wrestlers from 7 to 8:30. And then Bella Kane from 7:30 to 11. And then on Sunday, just the food court, not the food court, just the carnival from noon to 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Question. Carnival opens at noon. The food court doesn't open till 3. Does the carnival have any concessions?
They will give, they'll have their choice if they want to set up earlier to be there for the carnival, but carnival's all going on one top of the hill, and so how many,
Concessions are-
and they have their own concessions
Yeah,
there.
they have a-
But the food court people could be there earlier if they want.
They could be if they want to,
Okay.
yeah. They want to set up earlier, yep.
And they're aware of that. They're aware of that.
Yeah, well, they will be, yeah, they will be.
I'm aware.
They are, yes, Dennis is here, they are aware of it. Okay, anything else on the entertainment? All right.
Where are the wrestlers gonna be?
They go on the hill between the carnival and between the main tent. They're over there in the middle.
It's a good question. Where's the camel ride gonna be?
Where's the camel ride's gonna be?
Wherever wherever he wants to be. It's Peanut that's coming, he's really a sweet guy. I don't know, they're gonna kind of look and see where there's gonna be the best shaded area, because he's gotta have shade. We're gonna try and keep it up front by the ice cream for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just had a question for you, Anna, because I know we've discussed it a little bit back and forth on emails with
Mhm.
access to the parade. Are people gonna be coming up and in through Forest Hill? I was not at the last meeting.
No. We're having, everybody's setting up an hour and a half early, so I'm gonna have setup starting at 9.
Okay.
I'm telling people to use Highway 100.
Okay.
When I talked to the chief, he said he's gonna try and have an extra squad down there to help. The only people I know that are coming through Forest Hill are gonna be coming from the grounds. So the camel people will be coming from there, the fire truck's gonna be coming from there, it's picking up the aldermen and council members. There's one other, the trolleys are coming up from Forest Park up through Forest Hill.
Okay.
But that should be it, and that'll be even before, probably 10 o'clock.
So the trolley is gonna pick up the alderman and everybody else in
No.
the parking lot?
No, the fire truck is.
Fire truck in
Yeah,
the
the
parking
trolleys
lot,
are gonna
in the
have
parking
the-
lot by City Hall?
Correct.
Okay, and the city truck is not gonna be there blocking the road?
Probably, but no, because the parade, they usually don't go into position just before the parade starts. Cause I know on Forest Hill, it's a crapshoot, cause I never know, cause I'm on the other end, I don't know when they're doing it. Hopefully, everybody's gonna be up by 10 o'clock. No guarantees, I know, it's controlled chaos, that's all I can tell you. You can tell and instruct, but if they're gonna do it, I don't know. And the Badger Band usually doesn't come until like 11 o'clock when it starts, because they're coming from another parade. But they walk, so that's a good thing. So you're usually walking either down Loomis or Forest Hill as well, so they have no cars.
I'll be up to the help on Forest Hill. I know I told you that last time. If you need help making sure people get through there at the end, if
Oh,
that.
there's gonna be an officer there.
Oh, okay, he knows who's
That's
coming
what
and
I
stuff,
told.
and, okay.
Yeah. And I told him I would list everything on there, who's coming through, who's coming in, and who should be going
Alrighty.
out. Because what's gonna happen after is everybody's gonna, the camels and the fire truck is gonna have to come back through Forest Hill to come into Legend to drop everybody back off down here.
Mhm.
Unless it won't be an issue if we could have the fire truck drop them off at Legend Park, at Vernon Barge over there, to let everybody out, cause it's gonna be the older persons and the mayor. And then, cause they're going to another parade in Brookfield. So if they can get dropped off in the parking lot there, if they'll let them in and to dump them off, they can just walk over and they can go on their way. Then we'll be okay that way. Everybody else then is going down 76 to wherever they have to go.
Mhm.
So nobody should be coming back around other than just that one.
So we won't have to use golf carts to transport all the people from the parking lot up to the parade?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
No, there should be a.
And Ann, who did you give the list to with all the participants? Are you sending that to the chief?
Yes.
You
I
me-
send it to everybody,
And-
usually, everybody
okay.
I try to.
Alright.
Since you're gonna be the head of it, I would have you, and then I do all the captains, and then the chief, the assistant chief, and
Perfect.
DPW, and the fire station.
Okay,
So at least they know what's going on.
perfect.
So is the idea then, you're trying to get everybody lined up by coming down, is it gonna be Buttes to get over to Highway 100? Cause the construction's on Highway 100. so-
Yes, they should be able to come all the way down and go into Loomis. And turn into Loomis,
And be on Loomis itself?
Correct.
Okay, alright.
yeah. And
We
they
should, we should be able to use that to line all up, you're not gonna have to get to the point of the intersection, essentially.
No, oh no, we don't want that for now, no.
I can't tell, I'm at the front of the parade, but I can't see how far down you actually
Yeah,
are.
we're
right?
usually just past, the post office.
Okay, alright.
So, yeah, we haven't hit all the way down that way.
Okay.
That's way too much. Then we'd be here for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's hard when you're standing there looking down, I can see the line, but I can't really see where it
Yeah,
ends.
I've got some people staged out on Brentwood so that they can stay out, cause we've got a Corvette club that's coming and they wanna be out of the center line, cause they don't want any damage to their cars, which is fine. And I keep them over there and they're usually pretty good.
Okay. Okay, and I
One-
covered.
One question, John, on the
Yeah.
camels, who's doing the cleanup on that?
They do.
Okay, not the
They
city.
have special things for them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, everybody else, I only hire people that are gonna clean their own stuff. And we've had them for Christmas before and they didn't have any issue.
Okay, I covered the other entertainment with the Drivey Box, Golf Simulator, and the Bruce City Wrestling, and the pickleball tournament. Next in line is the Carnival. Carnival has been all set. You know, there are times I announced, you know, with wristbands on Saturday and Sunday from noon to 4 for $25. And they will be notified about pricing and stuff and selling merchandise. You know, issues that we had last year. They haven't got their permit yet for the merchandise, so when they do, they will be notified. Okay, food vendors and non-food vendors. Let's start with non-food vendors. How many do we
As far
got?
as I know, we've got 4 so far.
4 so far, right?
Usually it's the week before. Everybody waits to see how the weather's gonna be and then they go crazy. I think we should limit them though. We're not gonna have enough room,
That's,
especially if we're having the wrestlers.
you had that good question. Let's go back to, yeah, the other entertainment. We have no spot, we haven't located yet where Drivey Box will be yet. You know, it's a big trailer. And we also will have the wrestling there. So we also have Cloud Wine setting up their sales of wine. So
They're not gonna be under the tent in that corner?
hopefully, it's hard to, now picture where they're gonna be, but yeah, we're gonna have wine sales from Cloud Wine. Cloud Niner, is it?
Cloud
On
nine.
Cloud.
yeah.
On
On
Cloud
Cloud
Wine, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And we'll still have our two wine sales in the main bar too.
Oh, I wonder. This isn't, but this guy that did the.
Sons of Norway, yes.
He's not gonna be there.
He's gonna, they're doing it, we're not doing it.
Oh, we had issues with him last time, when he would go to the people that were volunteering, bartending, and ask him all kinds of questions about the wine and where it's from and how it's made, all this stuff, and everybody said, I don't know, and then he came back and he's complaining because nobody could tell him anything. They're volunteers, they don't give a darn.
That's when they were,
Fine.
One's red, one's white.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah. This time he's responsible for everything. We're not putting volunteers in that.
oh, he's gonna do all the work?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Good. We'll go question him.
And he's gonna pay us just like a food vendor.
Okay.
John, how big is this setup? Is it a trailer, a truck? What is he out of?
He has to do that space, like Dennis just turned in. I just sent these out where they give me how much space they need and how much power. He hasn't done that yet, but he has gotten his application in and his paperwork for the health department in. Should-
Is all the electrical done for the food trucks?
Oh, that's the big news is yes, all electrical is done.
It looked like I go
Someone
for a
owes me a
walk through
lunch.
the park, and it looked like.
Yeah. So now then, after they come back, and we find out how much power we need from there, so it'll be all, no generator. That's perfect. They have it set up with 250 amps, 320 amps, and 230 amps in each box.
And we can change them after a while too, the different sizes, what the customer needs, so.
Are they gonna have to run their own cords? The vendors?
Still they hopefully can run them. We'll see if we can put the box inside that power box. We don't know yet.
Okay.
We'd love to have that, so everything's plugged in the power box, so you don't have anything out exposed. But we still got the power cords to run
The vendors.
for the vendors that they can use, yeah.
Ours or theirs?
We use, you remember that big turtle we use?
Right.
That is ours, and then we also run cords from there. Some of them go and plug right into our 8 outlet turtle, but we won't hopefully need that.
But if we do, we have it, so.
Yeah, and this year we have 11 vendors. Last year we had 10. If I have to go by memory, everybody else is back other than Cream City and the Kettle Corn. What the new one is Azteca, the Mexican food. We'll have Cream City ice cream. And the third one, I'm thinking. Marco's Pizza. Marco's Pizza. So we have even a more variety. Do we know where they're all going yet? No. Because we had 10 last year, and now we got 11. And we got the wine guy, and we got Drivey Box, so.
And we got the new electric boxes that we gotta try to squeeze them all in around too. It could be interesting.
Yeah.
Always run a line from the building,
From a building.
from here, from this building, we always run a line.
Well, there's a power one out here on the hill too. No, there's plenty of power. And there's one we don't even use up by where the motorcycles are parked. We don't even use that one.
So that brings up a question. Who's paying electricity?
We don't ask, but it is on a meter. It is definitely on a meter.
I was gonna say, those are not gonna be on their own meters, I'm sure.
Yeah. The meter, last I looked, when it was at 0.
You didn't believe me when I said that.
I said that too, we could bypass
They
it, the
were gonna
meters.
meter it.
Yeah, Bobby yelled.
Yeah, pull a meter out and a little lever you push up and then you get
Yeah,
power.
no, we're not doing that.
Lot better though than having a generator and the fuel, the fuel to run a generator.
Well, so, yeah, so who was those, were those our generators or were those? the
Payne and
vendors?
Dolan donated a generator.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yep.
But we had to pay for the fuel and that was quite a bit of fuel a year. Sometimes it was 4,000 for the
I was
year
gonna
just
say
for
the fuel probably is.
1 year, 2 years ago, it was really high because we didn't have the right generators. And last year, we had a really nice, efficient one. Last year was a lot less, like half the price.
Are they still giving us the 3 floodlights? The 3 floodlights.
The lights from
Three-
Payne and
three
Dolan said the
floodlights.
lights.
Oh, yes, they're bringing the lights, the 3 lights, yes. Yes.
We're hard of hearing on this in the table a bit.
Yeah,
Ears
so
are
there's
pointed
a-
that way.
There's a DP, so in 2024, there's a DPW fuel usage?
Yeah.
Is that separate of,
That was separate. That was for the generator.
that was for the generator?
Yep.
Okay, so it had 1,800 in here for last year, but 2022 was like 4,800.
Yes, that was the year.
Okay, so yeah, last year was 18.
They gave us too big a generator to use and it burned
It
fuel
was-
faster.
I was gonna say.
Payne and Dolan gets the generator donated from the generator company, so they give them whatever
Okay.
they don't need, so.
So this will kind of set the bar for where we kind of expect the usage to be then going forward. Because it's new, right?
Yeah, should be.
Okay.
And the request is in also with DPW to level out under, we did go over with them again, but we got no commitment, but they gotta do it soon because then you'd have all mud out there if they do try to level that out. But when we went and looked at the power, we also looked at the, you know, the grounds for the main tent. So we did put in the request. Okay, here we got Angela with volunteers.
So, there's only a couple that we're set for. The rest of them we need volunteers for. Unfortunately. But Lisa Marie was good enough to help me with putting some posts out on social media. And then I opened my email today that I forgot to link up when I got my new phone. And I had a couple more people on there. So I'm hoping that we'll get some more people. And then with the insert to the newsletter, hopefully a couple more. And then I can reach out to the people who were in the ticket booth last year, because some of those people like to come back, so
Yeah.
I can do that on an email.
Yeah,
I just made a post like 4 or 5 days ago
Mhm.
because I had nothing, so I had to go to the city hall page and download get a copy of what was actually happening so I could post it with the volunteer form. So I found that stuff and got that out. I've got it through a handful of Franklin pages. I also posted it on the Hales Corners because Hales Corners is our neighbor, and they don't, compared to like Oak Creek or Greendale, they don't really have a big fest or anything much going on. It's a very small little event for them because it's a smaller city. So if we try to just try to help with the volunteer situation, that would work.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
and then we'll have one more meeting, and we'll count on this here and, like you said, your post, and by the next meeting, then I can, we can work in filling in, from people we know, for, like Fred Clements, I get him to go at a time slot, but I wait until we know what slots are needed. And my wife does ticket booths, so we can get that done next, we'll have one more meeting before the festival now.
Yeah, that came up quick.
Yeah, and the 4th is the hardest to really find volunteers
Right.
because
Yeah.
everyone is doing their own family thing. They've got their own plans. Nobody wants to be separated from their family for 3 hours,
It's
4
true.
hours. So that's always a tough one.
And like I said, with stuff that you did, I'd like to put your name into the mayor then to be appointed.
Thank you.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, yep, yep. Got my
Yeah.
shirts already.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then we covered some of the parade. Any other news to report on the parade?
No, it's been a struggle, I'll tell you.
What about the band?
The Badger Band,
No, well, the Badger Band's committed, right?
sort of, they don't commit until 2 weeks before, depends on how many kids they have,
Yeah.
so.
And what about the band from Chicago?
He okayed the dollar amount, he says, yeah, he'll do it,
He'll do it?
yeah.
So that'll be new.
So him and I've got the fire and police band that I was talking to the gentleman after the bagpiper. And he says he would like to do it too, he's just gotta get his group together. So, and I won't know about him until June 1st. And I did put out also a plea to the staffers. Because they drive wherever they go. So they would drive up here, so.
Yeah.
we'll
That was
see.
fun.
And tell them about the fire truck.
We're gonna have a gentleman who bought an old fire truck and he refurbished it. It's kinda cute because it drives and it's got eyelashes and eyeballs and things and it drives. And he's got two 90-foot, is it 90-foot or 90, I don't remember how long they are. LED screens on each side that he can put sayings on whatever we want. And it can hold up to 18 people can ride on it. So I thought that would be kind of neat to have the alderman and the mayor, and then we could put on the side, if it's gonna be the, for the veterans, the welcome home parade, to put on behalf of the Mayor Nelson, the alderpersons, FCC, welcome home. So, and it makes noise and it spits out streamers and confetti, so that's gonna be going. It's all biodegradable, so it'll go away in the wash.
Oh, wow.
But I'm gonna have everybody in front of them, because my fear is the gentleman who drives for me, who drives the Grand Marshal, he works at Griffin Hub, and he brings new cars. And I hate to have him sitting all afternoon cleaning that car out from all that confetti, because he has all the Jeeps and they're all topsoil. So I'm gonna put the motorcycle, the color guard, the honor guard, and then the Grand Marshal and the dogs, if Adam and Jen are gonna walk. And then have the fire truck behind them. So we kind of single out the Grand Marshal in front so that nobody gets. So it should be interesting, the trolleys and the rest of the veterans. So.
That was that video you sent me on that.
Oh, on the truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. He was booked, but I acted down when I talked to him, and he kind of gave me all the information. He says, well, I think I can do it. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's coming hours first, and then they're going to Brookfield. So,
Okay.
Just a question, how many units do we actually have in a parade?
right now, we only have 30. We usually have about 32 on each side, so about 65, 70. And mind you, every one of those units has 3 or 4 cars, semis, or trucks. And you guys have the option if you want to take it in, if you want to take it.
Any more on the parade? Any more thoughts? You still got the
Anybody's
construction.
got any ideas to get anybody out there, I'm all for it. Everybody I talk to is either committed to their own, or they're on vacation, or they have tournaments, or they have whatever else is going on out there. So it's a struggle on the 4th. Nobody wants to go away from their area parades that they do. Especially being a Friday. Yeah, exactly. A lot of vacations.
We know the difference, because that time when we had the parade and they celebrated the 4th on the non-4th, on the weekend before, we had a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, it was That was a
It was-
Why don't we do that more? Like, why don't,
Oh my
The
God.
community.
Oh, we got so much,
you got, oh, really?
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
What year was that? 'Cause I remember that.
3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Maybe 22.
It was my first year, so 3 years ago.
Was your first year?
So yeah, maybe 22, because this would be 25 for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22.
Okay. This was the July. Was that the after?
I think it was the second, no. it was-
No.
No, it was,
fourth.
Yeah. it was.
Yeah.
fourth was on a Tuesday,
Yep.
and we did it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, so the parade was on Sunday.
Fourth was on a
Saturday,
Monday.
Sunday,
On
yeah.
Sunday.
Sunday.
It was Sunday.
Yeah,
It was
Sunday.
Yeah, because we had it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right.
And the fireworks too. More people could come, to our place that weren't doing other one, and they could go to 2 of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it, I mean.
It worked out. I mean, but-
Realistically, right, bringing more business, because like we're saying,
Yeah.
everyone has their own kind of thing, but you have it on an odd day, obviously it doesn't please everybody, but
But people that don't deal with what we deal with,
sure.
You know-
don't understand, the circumstances on it.
Hold on, sorry. What I was gonna say is, so going back to where your during citizen comment period, that is something we need to bring up, because if you go back and look at the revenue, that year, we did way more
Yeah.
than 23 and 24. It was in ticket sales revenue, it was like 106,000. And last 2 years was like 77,000 range.
Oh, wow.
That's a huge.
So it was
Yeah.
that was a big, like,
That's a huge.
I get people's reaction and things like that, but there's also, it's a big difference, but it also depends on the year, right?
How
I
it
mean,
fell.
like how it falls and stuff like that.
So we'd have to wait almost 3 more years for it to end up on a Monday or Tuesday.
Correct.
But I'd have no doubt the best way to go is to do like we did. But social media was just, and there were people like, you gotta celebrate on the 4th.
Yeah, we had so
And you
many
still
people-
can, you
yeah,
still
so
can
many
go
people
somewhere
on-
and
Right.
celebrate
That's
right.
anywhere.
Mhm.
We had to turn them away, we had so many people that wanted to be part of it. If we kept everybody on there, we would have been down to a high.
And then we have the we had the dancing grannies, and then we had,
That's when we had the stompers, yeah.
had the stomper, that was,
Yeah, that was a long parade. I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody was at that one.
We won't have it on a Tuesday till 2020,
till when?
2028.
2028?
Yeah, it's really good.
Maybe it's something. in the
It's a leap
future
year,
we
so it goes from
revisit.
Sunday.
Start getting that in people's
Yeah.
heads, that, maybe we'll do that, so I don't get in front of that.
And then 2028 goes to Tuesday.
It's like they complain, but
Yeah.
we did well.
Correct.
So obviously, you know what I'm saying? I think you get your most vocal people who may be on social media, who are displeased, but realistically, looking at the numbers, as he just said, not everyone, we're okay with it,
Mhm.
And so 2021, so that would have been on Monday then?
21 would have been,
Is that the year after COVID? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
that was on a
That's a leap year.
Sunday.
That was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
2021
that was
also was a
good.
big revenue year.
That was-
Also, that was the first year after COVID,
Right.
so you had like the
That's true.
rebound kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then Monday, 2022.
A lot of
Okay.
our sales are weather oriented too, though, so you would almost have to check the weather on those days in the past.
Yeah, the weather
Yeah.
2 part.
Correct. Yeah, I think there's, going forward, I think it'd be good to keep track of that a little bit, cause it might help us going into future years on understanding like, when the 4th is in this day, right? Like what we kind of, what's the expectation? Cause it's not like every year it's the same, because some years you have 4 days, some days are 3, and all those kind of things, right?
Right.
So it might be helpful for kind of setting the expectation going forward too. And what we need, right, both from like what we're expecting from revenue, what our expenses are gonna be, like the extra day, what that brings from what extra help we need.
And then when you get the rentals, like the tents, the bars and all that, If you're going 4 days versus 3, it's the same price. So you're paying the same, you're not paying per day, you're renting the tents,
Basically like a week charge, I think we can go up to it.
yeah.
A flat charge,
Okay.
3 days, 4 days, same price, right?
But if you're doing like 2 days, like a Tuesday and a Wednesday, if the 4th is on a Tuesday, or no, it would be if it's on, it would be Monday, Tuesday. We did one time 5 days.
It was
We
brutal.
That must've been a while ago.
But you just can't do Monday night and Tuesday when your big activity is on the weekend.
Correct.
And I would almost think it's cheaper, you could say cheaper. It's easier for police because they don't have to worry about the holiday and staffing. They have normal scheduled people, and DPW has normal scheduled people. So you're not, telling somebody they can't go on vacation because we have to do this. I would think that would be ideal just for city workers.
We're here regardless.
Right, but still, I mean, at least people who really do want to take a vacation day, who have been working a lot, it's a lot easier, I think. It seemed like they had less issues that year because everybody was there. I mean, it was only like the second.
Yeah, we'll see what the city and the DPW, it's gonna be 3 days now versus 4. So hopefully that'll go down.
Yeah. But cost of living's going up, so either way, I don't think it'll ever go down.
So do we have an estimate of what it is? I mean, we have a budget, but. was
We
the
have a budget, but not police and DPW. That is all based on their out and what they,
We have no control over how many people they schedule or anything, so.
yeah.
They could maybe give us one if they wanted to, but.
So it's DPW, okay. But the rest of it.
That should be on that report there too, that you get, where they give the hours and everything.
Yeah, this one didn't have the hours in it. This one had the hours in it.
And the other thing, Alderman, John, is you asked me about, so far spending. So far, based on what I got approved, for 115,000.
Mhm.
I'm about 105, I'm under.
Okay,
So right now I'm under it.
okay. Awesome.
Till we get some more final billing, but we'll be under budget.
Okay, that's good. So it's just a matter of, hopefully it's good weather.
Yeah.
Nothing more, it doesn't rain yet.
Yeah, so at 100, just to put it in perspective, then at 105,
They did
in
do
2022, we would have pretty much broken even. And was 2022 3 days that night? Was
3.
It was
That was the one that we did the weekend, 3 days.
Yeah, that was 3 days, okay. And last year was
4.
and the year before that was 3?
2024 was 4 days.
Or was 23 was?
2023 was 3 days.
Okay.
So what, last year was 4?
Okay, and the year before that was 3. Okay.
And we could go over budget depending how busy the festival is, because in our numbers, we have the cost of beer, cost of soda, and cost of ice. If we're really busy, we sell more beer, we could go over the number because we sold a lot more and we made more money, but
Oh,
if you
okay.
just look purely at expenses, it could look like, oh, you
Yeah.
went over on expenses, but
Yeah.
because we had added revenue, and
Okay. Yeah, this is, what you got in right now is based on the base expectation or whatever. Yeah, I follow you.
And like this Drivey Box Golf Simulator, that will be bringing in, now it's an expense right now, what we had to pay for the contract, but at least they'll be bringing in money, when they make the $10 sale per person. So that'll have some income there from that.
So that $10 goes to the.
Yeah,
city.
it'll be,
Okay,
they have to buy the tickets at the ticket booth,
okay,
but it won't be the food tickets or the volunteer tickets, it'll be like a separate ticket, just a little one ticket. And then they'll take the ticket when they come in and they'll turn the tickets back in at the end, to us.
Okay.
Same thing with the camels. We'll sell the camel tickets and someone goes and gives them the ticket, okay? And they collect all the tickets. They don't get any money for it, but they gotta give them back to us.
Yeah.
So we know how many were used for the camels, how many were used for the golf, and how many weren't used that were sold.
Have we got those tickets printed up yet?
Yeah,
In different colors?
yes.
I don't believe him. He said there.
So we need a 3-hour training class for people in a ticket booth to know what they're selling.
Just label them on spools or something.
No, they will be numbered tickets, so we know how many they sell. Because the cashiers are responsible for all the sales, so they will be numbered. They'll be just like one little admit me in ticket, that's all it's gonna be. Okay, fireworks. That's at 9:30 on July 4th, and it says permit needed. Just got the permit application today, so that should be, and talk to fire chief, mayor, and all we gotta do is get the paperwork in, and that should be all set to go.
Do we have to pay any more for them with the tariffs?
You have to pay, there's Mr. Knackert's question he gave me earlier.
'Cause
No, I have not heard anything
45%
about
on-
more cost per tariffs.
Is it in our contract that they can pass that on to us or not, or
Huh?
is it in our contract with Snyder that they can pass that extra cost on to us after we have a contract?
I don't think tariffs existed when we signed the
No, but
contract.
they just usually word it like any government expense, or they don't say tariffs necessarily.
I don't know. If we haven't gotten notified by now, I would say we're good.
I hope they tell you.
Yeah, that could be a big factor. If you're talking 100% of what we pay.
Like, so 30,000 be 60,000, so.
Yeah.
Well, I figure there's services in there too, so. For
No.
the fireworks, right? It's just not the material of the firework that we pay for, it's the actual launchers and people doing it.
Okay. Fundraising and sponsorships, just like Ann said, we still wait to get sponsorship money. You don't know they have until June 6th to be qualified for the T-shirts, and so for the bigger ones, and we gotten in maybe half of what we expect to get, but we still got another half coming.
Half vendors or $half or both?
$half. I would say $half, but more. We already made up for what we did in last time, but we had to do all those mailings. We already got 2,500 in new donations from those mailings, so
Okay.
paid for itself there. But on the border, we don't know because they had a death in one of the ownerships. Michelangelo's gone, so we still got other ones that were pretty good donors that we haven't gotten yet. So I got to follow up on that pretty soon. So, but we just got Payne and Dolan's today, and that's one of the biggest ones. And the other one is Irish Cottage that, I have to go ask for it. Any questions there? All right, main tent bar. Yeah, and then we talked about it, that Sons of Norway wine vendor will be there.
And he does, so he's doing his own, he takes cash, he's completely.
He has to use tickets, same thing as tickets.
So he's still buying tickets.
He'll take just like, well, we don't have anyone else now, like the Lions Club. They take our tickets,
Okay.
for their beer sales. He'll be using our tickets for people who have to buy tickets from us to buy wine from them.
And
And
is
then he has
he-
to turn in his tickets, and then he gets paid 80% of what he's got.
So is he aware that our tickets are now $2 instead of compared to $1? So
He's never done it. This is the first time he'll be doing it on his own,
that way
selling.
his pricing is.
He's gonna sell,
reflects
I
off
think,
the
at
two-
$6.
Okay, so it'll work that way.
Yeah, he knows about the 246.
Okay,
I know, now I get
gotcha,
you.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he wants 8, or if he wants 10, for whatever kind of wine he wants to sell, he's gotta be within $2 increments.
Gotcha, okay, that's what I want.
Where is he gonna be set up?
So I gotta ask, why is he at 20%?
Why is he doing 20%? Because he's doing all his own purchasing, his own sales of everything. He's like a food vendor, you know.
But he's competing directly with you, which is the argument you gave to Franklin and Lyons.
He's competing against both of us, yeah. But he's,
We don't sell wine, so he's not competing with us.
yeah. But,
They have never really sold too much wine either, so it's kinda,
no,
wasn't a big deal in the past.
I ordered 600 bottles.
Okay.
Well, that's what we had over the last 2 years, yeah. Right? We sold wine maybe 1 every 10.
It was okay, it wasn't horrible, it wasn't, I don't think it was obviously one of our top sellers, but it did okay. It
Yeah.
did
And your
okay.
regular wine people will, and he has a Franklin business, you know, and he has his local people that go there when he does his stuff, so he will do sales probably, you know, that we wouldn't do. Because a lot of wine people probably wouldn't get the 2 wines we're getting, but might buy wine from him.
That's an excellent question. Plus, the wine, really, I don't think, like you said, he's not competing with you. He's not really competing with our beer sales. So we
He's
let
competing
you.
with your wine sales.
Our wine sales though,
Yeah, but
because we have, I mean, we don't know what kind of wine, do you know what kind of wine he I'm sure, I'm guessing it's better than our bottles.
Oh, gosh,
I'm gonna
it's-
guess,
Yeah,
I
winery,
think that's-
yeah.
yeah, I think.
Poured out of, you know, not little bottles like ours, pre-done.
Sure,
His is coming out of regular vineyard.
so,
And he's been in business now, what, for a year now, and he has special people that, you know, go there for wine.
yeah. I
We'll
think
see.
So 600 bottles are, how many, is that single serve, or is that?
Yeah, just, they buy a
Yeah,
little.
they're
bottle.
smaller, they're
Yeah, yeah.
smaller kind of bottles.
So it's 600, so, and what do we sell them for?
$6. Same as a beer.
So it's 30,
3,600?
yeah, so if we got completely, everything went to him, we'd lose a fifth of that, right, or 4/5 of it, because we only get 20%, is that what you're saying? We get 20% of sales?
No, the ones we buy, the little bottles?
No, his sales, we get.
Yeah,
20% of
his sales, we get 20%, but
Yeah.
our markup,
So if 100% of our sales went away and went over to him, we'd only get 20% on the 3,600.
We'll use it
So
next
like
year.
720.
true.
Just to give you a kind of a range. But you can also, but the argument could be too that he's selling it to a completely different group than
Different
what you're
group.
selling to, so it'll be a good barometer to see kind of where you're at.
Yeah.
We're selling to a different group too.
What was the question, Dennis?
I said, we're selling to a different group too.
Oh,
Those that
yeah.
want a craft beer.
Oh, yeah.
And yet we have to pay 50%.
But you're
That's
not-
my
We
beef
didn't,
right
we
now.
never asked for that 50%.
Wait.
Yes.
Volunteered.
Wait.
Oh, I take that back. I don't know what the original agreement was, but we came back and talked to John
Oh.
and asked for that to be reduced. Because
Wait.
Tim Lucky gave the farm away.
To explain, Dennis, you're paying 50% of your net profit. We pay for all the beer. We pay for the cooler you use, the trailer. We pay all those expenses. It's your net profit you pay 50% of, not 50% of your sales.
Yeah, You're paying 20% of the gross sales, so.
So
You have
you're,
to do the math to see.
we pay for all the supplies, and then whatever profit you have out of that with your tickets, from what your tickets, we get 50% of that. But you're not paying 50% of what you're gonna make off, unless you wanna, if you're buying all the trailer and all the supplies, and then you would probably be making the same amount. If you're just making your own profit by paying all that other goods. We pay for the quarter barrels, everything, the half barrels. And then from that it's deducted, and then you pay 50%.
Okay,
Okay?
Yeah, so it would be about the same.
I'll have to look at the math. I don't know if it's gonna be the same.
Yeah. You have to just gotta run the numbers.
And we were content, not happy, but content, until I find out now another seller of alcoholic beverages gets 80% of his. And he's using your tickets too.
He's using your tickets, but he's funding all the, everything.
Who are you talking about?
The wine guy.
The wine guy? Yeah, he's just using our tickets, but he's not he's just, that's to keep count of,
I know what they're.
because we gotta have something for, he has to, tell us how much this way we know how much he sold. I mean, we used to have tickets for the food vendors, and then we knew we could, we knew what they sold, versus now they're on a volunteer, system.
So what stops somebody if he's keeping track of his sales by tickets and giving us, what guarantees he's giving all, say, of the tickets that he actually sold? You know what I'm saying? Does it, you know what I mean? Like, let's say
Yeah, we don't have a way.
we don't have a way to monitor that. So
Right,
let's
but
say
he's
he
Right.
using the
sells.
same ones that. others are using
Right,
now.
let's say he just 500 tickets, and not that he would do this, I'm not saying that at all, but you hold back 75, well, now he's walking away with more, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
We're not getting our full cut, so I don't know how to remedy that.
I think you'd have to have separate tickets to run
Cross my mind, you know what I mean?
because
Like,
it's a different profile.
Yeah. With beer and
Otherwise
wine,
it
it's
makes
easy, it's a
sense.
ticket, for one beer, or, 3 tickets actually for a beer, because there'll be $2 tickets, so.
Do you know what your net profit is on beer? Yeah, you could figure out to see, because you're paying really lower than 50, because you're paying 50 of the net profit.
I'm just
so-
a working bee.
What?
I'm just a working bee.
Oh, okay. I'll figure it out for next meeting if I can get it from John and see, they compared it to, 50 or 50 to their 20 as in comparing apples to apples, it's apples to oranges
Yeah.
and.
So Dennis, who do you have, who is your supplier? You have, was it Eagle Brewing Company led? Who is
It's-
your,
Beer Capital is our distributor.
okay,
And we buy the beers from Eagle Park
okay.
through the distributor.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a state thing.
So it's what they're charging is coming on our bill.
Yeah, Beer Capital does all the beer, we pay the bill for everything, for all the beer and all the supplies.
Got it. Just because I know last year, like I had people come specifically to the bar looking for who was selling what you guys were selling.
And it did make a big difference. Last year, the sales of beer by the Lions Club was by far better than
Yeah.
with the Eagle brand then.
I suggest if you
Yeah.
can, through however you do your advertisement, that you're gonna be there to really, really focus on that kind of beer, because there were many people who came to the bar and said, where's this, I'm looking for what you were selling. That's
For the
very,
green-
very big
that
right
green
now.
stuff.
Green garbage.
Green
The
slime.
glass.
What did you have before? City Lights, right?
City Lights.
Get that mascot.
It's really good.
It is really good.
It's Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler,
Yeah.
yeah.
Eagle Park has it at the Whitnell Park Beer Gardens.
Yep, that's what I heard.
Very popular.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Speaking of
Hey.
beer, John, what are we selling?
Same brands as last year,
Okay.
same brands. just for the marketing, the signs and everything, just gotta get new signs though that show the new ticket price and the new beer price. And, hopefully have all that on the, display on the bar of the beer and make it known that they're $6, not $5.
Yeah.
It's just a magic marker you can make.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, big marker.
If anyone can scout out Dan Jansen Fest, yeah. Oh, and that is, I forgot about that. Carl just had his hip replaced, so
Mm-hmm. It's Memorial.
good to see you here.
Yeah, he's hobbling, but he's getting there.
Yeah, Carl's here. How many, I bet you can tell how many hours it's been, instead of days or weeks.
No, more on the days. One day is like another, it's a blur.
And it was done on
April 25th.
April 25th, so
So this Friday is 4 weeks.
less than a month ago. Welcome back.
I'm running a marathon by now.
Okay,
We should also, before, I think, speaking of tickets, I'm sorry. I don't mean to-
yeah, no,
We need to make sure at the ticket booth then, since we are gonna have different tickets, that we have signs for
Signs.
that, because you're gonna have people get kind of probably even confused, thinking they can, not knowing it's a special ticket for the camel ride and a
Yep.
certain ticket. People
Yeah.
may go by and then find out that they can't use their tickets with their, you know what I'm saying? So we need to make
Yeah.
sure that we have signage saying, camel ride, blue ticket,
Yeah.
but just so they
yeah,
can.
good point, good point. And then,
And at those locations as
Yeah.
well, because if someone goes to one of those and goes, where do
Right.
okay, what do I need? And
Mm-hmm.
Right. Everyone looking for tickets and not realizing that it's.
yeah,
a
but there'll be
Is that
definitely
in,
the tickets that we sell from the ticket booth are definitely different than what they'll be using for the drive-by
So many
box.
that came back with tickets saying, oh, I thought these were food too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need to have a sign that just says what they're for.
Yeah,
All
tickets
three of them.
just for beer, yeah.
Yeah.
Food is
Even though
And
we
I think
did
the
have
last-
a giant sign that said vendors was cash only, they still didn't.
So the people in the ticket booth are getting 3 different sets of tickets?
2 different sets.
Okay, so Drive Box and Camel have the same color?
We'll have the same thing.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
And we'll honor your camel ticket if you want to fight.
And I think the last meeting, you guys mentioned about putting on the tickets not refundable. No, not, only good for the year.
Yes.
Yes.
Putting a sign that we're,
Yes.
right, the tickets are only good for this
It's on the
year.
tickets.
Okay, awesome, that's good.
Yep, it is, we had enough time to put it on the tickets.
We should still, I'm sure just even a look, have one also at the ticket booth, just to kind of cover, not everyone reads the small print, so just so we can say, no, it's also, that we purchase tickets, it says, tickets are only good for this year,
Yeah.
just so, yeah, cover all your bases.
And not refundable.
Yeah.
Don't come back and try and sell your tickets back.
Okay. Anything else you guys can think of? Next meeting's our last one before, so we'll have our,
I just have one question. Is the lot in front of the police station open for public parking when it's not being used for the parade?
no,
No?
no.
I didn't know.
That's where the children's parade stages historically, and then they
Yeah.
start from there.
Yeah. That's all closed.
It's a good question.
I'll
Yeah.
ask it. Also, the meeting, in the common council notes, they're trying to buy a property south of City Hall. City is. Is it there?
that's in there.
Yeah, so where is it? There's a house over there, but is it that empty field between the police station and that house, or?
I can only comment what's in there.
I don't know.
He's talking about closed session.
And it's closed, no comment.
That's really.
Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Anybody Did I hear a motion?
Yep.
A second?
In a second already.
Those in favor, say aye. Those
Aye.
opposed? Meeting adjourned.